Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. We are going to get started today on our math lesson. And this week we are going to be learning how to add and subtract fractions. I know the last couple weeks we have been working with decimals, but remember fractions and decimals can kind of be like the same thing here. So this week we're going to learn how to add and subtract fractions. The first thing I want to do is show you a problem. So you're just watching right now. Okay, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals. You guys are going to be able to figure this out in your head, but I'm trying to trick you. So think about this right now. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals what? All right. I think that it equals this. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Do you guys agree? I hope not. This is a big fat X. Because 1/2 plus 1/2, if I draw some circles down here, cut them in half, and I have 1/2 plus 1/2, I'm going to get 1 whole, right? I get 1. So how we do that is we look to see if there's a common denominator. We know the numerator is on top and the denominator is on the bottom. And you can remember this if you're a Notre Dame fan by saying ND, Notre Dame. Okay, so I have my numerator and denominator. Well, the denominators are the same, which means our parts are the same. They get along. We can add those. But do I change having any more than 2 parts? No. So I would write my 2 down here. Okay, but my top parts, they are changing, right? 1 plus 1 gave me 2, and we know that 2 over 2 is equal to 1 whole. Okay, so this is super basic adding fractions. You guys are big 5th graders, so we're going to get a little more difficult. All right, so I want you to get out a piece of paper now. All right, guys, I hope you're back with your piece of paper or a whiteboard. So we are still adding and subtracting fractions. So let's look at this. We just talked about one with a common denominator. Remember, in a fraction, the top is a numerator, the bottom's a denominator, and you can remember that if you like Notre Dame, and you can remember Notre Dame, okay? When we add and subtract fractions, we know our denominator has to be the same. But we also know how to make, we also know how to simplify fractions. So if we can simplify them, we can multiply the top and the bottom by the same number and get an equal fraction. So my next one I want to do is 1/2 plus 1/4. When you look at this, we're going to think about candy bars for a second, because who doesn't like candy bars? Think about your favorite candy bar. Okay? If you have half of your candy bar and you have 1/4 of your candy bar, can I add those parts together? No, they're not equal, right? So I need to make this one both have a 4. You both be fourths as our denominator. So we got to think, how can I do that? Well, if I multiply the top and bottom by the same, I can get an equivalent fraction that has a 4. Just like if I were to have a big number and I divide by the same number on the top and bottom, I'm going to get an equivalent fraction. Okay? So I know 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. So I'm going to say times 2 on the bottom times 2 on the top. Okay? Well, 1 times 2, I'm going to bring it down here, is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1/4. Well, I can add 2/4 plus 1/4 because I have a common denominator now. I'm talking about the fourths, and my pieces are just going to get bigger. So then I just add across. 2 plus 1 is 3. My 4's stay the same because I'm talking about those 4 equal parts. And I know that 1/2 plus 1/4 is 3/4. All right, I want to try one more. Okay, we're going to do 2/8 plus 3/16. Ask yourself the question, are my denominators the same? No, 8 and 16 aren't the same. You guys know that. So what can I do to make this 8/16? You know we can multiply the top and bottom by 2. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4. 8 times 2 is 16. I made an equivalent fraction. Now they're both in 16ths, so I can add. 4 plus 3 is 7. 16 plus 16, oh, just kidding. I'm still talking about the same part, so I'm just going to bring my 16 over. All right, so this is adding. We've been doing adding, but we know that adding and subtracting are circles. So when we do the same thing to subtract, okay? So if I have my 2/8 and I want to subtract 3/16, I still need to make my denominators the same. Okay, so I'm going to make them 16ths again. And now I have my 4/16 minus my 3/16. Well, I know that 4 minus 3 is 1. I'm still talking about 16ths, so it's 1/16. All right, guys, this is just a little bit of our adding and subtracting fractions. That's what we will be doing all week. If you look on the next part of your e-learning Google Doc, you will see what the next part is. There's a seesaw activity, and there's also an activity in your math book. So go on your Google Doc. We will see you at the end of the day. And remember, you can either email or Google Hangout Mrs. Stayback and I if you have any questions.